Fraternity of NFL players. How are you? I'm Scott Van Pelt. Great to have you with us as we look back at the significant moments from this Monday night as Kansas City, that 0-2 start long since put in the rearview mirror. Favorites to win the Super Bowl again, and you understand why. It's 14-7. Off-schedule plays, doesn't make any difference. Where's my man? There's 87 for 6, and that ties the franchise record for touchdowns, along with Priest Holmes. I hope the youngsters know about Priest Holmes because he could really go. So it's 21-7 at this point, and welcome back Rashee Rice. They got him back last week after a 6-game suspension, and let's put that ball away somewhere special for big 8-7. And Rashee Rice scored a couple of times last week, and here Mahomes climbs in the pocket, finds Rice. There's 7 more. And this game is long since put to bed. As Joe and Troy said, this is around the time they would have started singing "Turn Out the Lights." Although the party's still going on here in Arrowhead after the Chiefs roll to victory. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman join us now from the booth. And Joe, I want to start with you and the question I asked Troy on Countdown. You think about, a month ago we're down in Jacksonville. They lose that game, and they're 2-3. And now a month later, I'm interested in how different they feel, or maybe more so how they feel the same, like they felt for basically the last decade. They've just flipped the switch, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they got out to that 0-2 start, and you just kept waiting for it to kick into gear, and it's happened. And I think, they have more on the outside now than they had a year ago. They had Rice, who was out with the injury last year in week 4, and he was not there. They were piecing it together. They added DeAndre Hopkins. It has a different feel right now. They get Rice back. They've got Hollywood Brown, who was also injured last year. They've got Xavier Worthy. They're adding new pieces like the rookie running back Rashard Smith. They've still got Kelce, who's in better shape than he was a year ago. It goes on and on and on with Patrick Mahomes in the middle of it with a really, really good defense. So what's not to like? And, I agree, and I see what Patrick Mahomes told us, that he thinks this could be one of the best teams they've had in his time in Kansas City.
Troy, sitting down here in the field at halftime, we're raving about the way Washington has battled over the first 30 minutes. They're undermanned, they're beat up, and yet here it is 7-7. And then that next 30 minutes, I think, really illustrates the way in which Mahomes stresses you in ways maybe nobody else does. When it's off schedule, it's got to be incredibly maddening. And you've talked about your admiration for how he plays the game. What's the second half show that Mahomes does that maybe no one else does?
Well, I mean, you mentioned it, and then in the highlights, it's play after play. That if you can't get to him, and we talked about it in the pregame there, Scott, that if you can't get to Mahomes and get him on the ground, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time matching up to all the players that Joe talked about. And you play zone coverage, you can't stop them, and then when you play man coverage with their ability to separate, but you can put a lot of quarterbacks in this offense, and it wouldn't look quite the same because of the throws that he's able to make. And I mentioned it during the game. I do think there's an element for a quarterback that you have to be instinctive in today's game in order to be successful. And Patrick has that in spades. And then with his ability to really, I don't like the term make all the throws, but he can make all the throws when he's in different positions, and not a lot of guys can do those types of things. So he's an impressive guy. He's the one who makes it all happen. And for Washington, they played as good as they could play. Yep. They had 3 takeaways coming into this game. They get 2 there in the first half, and yet they really weren't able to take advantage of it. And they just couldn't keep score with them once Kansas City got it rolling.
Joe, in the pregame, Troy mentioned it was sort of wishful thinking for those who were trying to get the shovel out and throw dirt on Kansas City off that 0-2 start. I mean, they feel inevitable. They feel inevitable to me. You share that sentiment?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's no team in the AFC that thinks they're finished or we're even close to it.
Right.
They're the guys that have to play against this team, and they're the guys that have to figure out what Andy Reid's putting together every week and slow down Patrick Mahomes and find Travis Kelce just knifing his way through one zone defense after another. Now all the speed on the outside. And again, that good defense, which we keep sleeping on, but statistically one of the best they have been for the now 2.5 years. So it's all here, the experience. They know how to win when it matters the most. And, yeah, they'll just keep rolling until somebody shows me something different.
Well, and the Buffalo game will be fun next week in the regular season. The Bills have had their answer in the regular season. We all know about the postseason, which is what matters. We'll see you guys in Dallas. Troy, do you have to pick Swag up and drive him to the game? How's that work?
Well, nobody picks Swagoo up, but, he wanted barbecue.
I'd like to thank the fans. They were great tonight. Wild as ever. They were lined up here. Last night when I went over to the hotel, they were lined up and barbecuing, and they were primed and ready to go by the time those gates opened. So I appreciate all their support. I thought our guys played, again, a great second half. First half, we lacked a little bit, but second half we came around and both sides of the ball and special teams and did a nice job there. So a lot of individual accolades that can go out to the guys. The main thing is we played as a team the second half. First half, just a little shaky, but took care of business there. Anyways, with that, time's yours. All two of you.
How much pressure does it take off your offense when things aren't maybe going great, when the defense continues to do what they do?
Yeah, no, it's a great thing. They complement each other, which is that's a positive. And at this level, you need everybody. So, but they stay positive. That's the part I appreciate. And even when it's kind of up and down, they stay positive and create energy with that. And we were able to come around and make some plays both sides of the ball.
What impressed you most tonight about the defense? I mean, they were giving up a lot of yards, but they seemed to come through when they needed to on the fourth downs in the first half, and then second half really put it together.
First half was weird. There wasn't a lot of punting going on either side, and there were no points on the board. So that normally doesn't go on. But those fourth downs were big. They do that. They're one of the more aggressive teams in the league, going for fourth down, and they were tonight. So we were able to stop them a couple times. I thought that was positive.
Travis was able to tie the all-time record in franchise. Was that see him be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, as a compliment to him, there have been some great tight ends here over the years. So for him to be able to do what he's done over this amount of time is great. And still, as you guys know, you come out to practice, you see that energy. He's got energy every day, and he's not the youngest guy. So he just goes and goes.
How did you feel like Rasheed took another step tonight as he returned?
I thought he did good. If you get rid of that little deal at the end, he loves to play, and he's so competitive. But I love the way he goes about it. He works his tail off, and then he's so physical out there. He's like having another running back as a wide receiver. So.
And back to Travis real quick. He obviously had that second time he's had a kind of a tip ball that goes for an interception. But he responded, really well, obviously. Does that surprise you at all that he was, that he had the mental toughness to kind of stick it out and make a big impact?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, those things happen, and, the main thing he didn't do was hang his head on it. He was mad at himself, but he works through those things, and nothing like getting another catch. So you get another catch, and you kind of erase that. He had some big ones there, so a lot of production.
Did you go to him on purpose on that third down? Did you drop the play the very next third down too? Because the next third down, he got it for the conversion there.
Yeah, so Matt does that, and I thought he did a nice job getting him back involved. So, yeah, it was great. Good for Pat. You have a quarterback that's willing to go back to the guy, too. So a lot of quarterbacks will shy away from that if they've had a bad play. But he goes right back to him.
The first half you mentioned was weird. Get out of it 7-7, then come out and Washington get shut out. You put up 3 long scoring drives, put the game out of reach. What does it say about the team as a whole to be able to just kind of extend the lead quickly after a year last year where really that didn't happen very often? You did a great like game. This is now the 5th double-digit one, I believe.
Yeah, so it's tough to score points in this league. So any that you get, you appreciate. I like the way the guys went about it. You're going to need mental toughness when you play in this league. There's so much parity, and you've got to fight through some of the highs and lows and continue. Even with the good plays, you got to make sure that you're bringing a fastball the next play. So I appreciate the effort in doing that. Yeah, it's a positive.
Do you guys make any adjustments at halftime coming out, whether offense or defense, where you felt like maybe you had to change something at the break, or was it just about cleaning up some mistakes, making tweaks?
Yeah, so we always talk and go through what we'd like to do, but there are adjustments that are made, sure. Yeah.
Coach Reed, you mentioned the first half was weird. Do you remember any games that you've been a part of where the first 5 drives all ended in turnovers?
No, I don't. I can't tell you that. That was weird. Yeah.
You guys have touted Mike Downer for a long time. I guess what's the need to have the night that he did was the interception.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. That was a big play there. So one of those turnovers when they were driving the field and he comes in. And he made it look easy, but that's not an easy thing to do. And then he had a little yak after it, so he did pretty good. Yeah.
Real quick, Jalen Moore had a little bit of a sluggish start, but I think he got bull rushed a couple times into Patrick's lap, but really ironed some things out. Was there anything to that? Any conversation you guys had?
Yeah, well, Dan's got a good defensive front there. Tap's done a nice job with that crew, coaching them up, and so. And I think he came in and probably a little cautious right at the beginning there, and then he just tuned it up. So, but you got to give them credit. They've got a good front. Yeah.
Last one, Tom. In the running game, continues to look like it's improving with both your running backs and 3 running backs and Patrick too. What's working well for you guys there?
Yeah. Well, it starts up front, and then Pop is getting into a groove, and then.
Kansas City. What a night it was. The Kansas City Chiefs didn't just win, they made a statement in front of the whole football world. Under the bright lights of Arrowhead, the Chiefs delivered a 28-7 beatdown of the Washington Commanders that reminded everyone exactly why this team is still the gold standard of the NFL. It wasn't just another victory, it was a declaration that the dynasty still burns red and gold. The first half was rocky. A few misfires, a couple of missed opportunities, and some sloppy drives that had fans holding their breath. But that's the beauty of this team. They adjust, they lock in, and then they strike. Once Patrick Mahomes found his rhythm, it was over. 3 touchdown passes later, and suddenly the Commanders' defense looked helpless. Mahomes' connection with Travis Kelce was electric again, the same telepathic rhythm that's carried Kansas City through championship runs. And let's talk about Kelce. The man is 36 years old and still playing like he's 26. 6 catches, 99 yards, a touchdown, and a piece of franchise history as he ties Priest Holmes for most touchdowns in Kansas City history. That's not just production, that's legacy. You could feel Arrowhead erupt when Kelce hauled in that score near the corner of the end zone. It wasn't just a touchdown, it was a moment. A symbol that greatness doesn't fade, it evolves. The defense deserves a ton of credit too. After halftime, they completely shut down Washington's offense. No rhythm, no space, no chance. That defensive front, relentless. The secondary, locked in. This wasn't just an offensive show, it was a team performance, top to bottom. Everyone did their job, and they did it with purpose. Now the Chiefs sit at 5-3. And the message to the rest of the league is crystal clear. Don't count out Kansas City. They've been tested, they've been challenged, and they're finding that championship gear again. You can see the spark in Mahomes' eyes, in Kelce's swagger, in the defense's hunger. This is the version of the Chiefs that wins in January. So here's the truth, Chiefs Kingdom. This game wasn't just about stats or standings. It was about pride. It was about leadership. It was about reminding everyone that Kansas City still runs the AFC. The dynasty isn't done. It's just entering another chapter. Now I want to hear from you. How fired up are you after that win? Do you think this version of the Chiefs is peaking at the right time? Drop your comments below, hit that like button if you're proud of this team, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more passionate KC breakdowns every week right here on the Chiefs Kingdom Report. Because this, right here, this is what it means to be Chiefs Kingdom. Relentless, proud, and never backing down.